everyone, and welcome to 2020's first mini Brave Exvius update, the show that brings you all of the hottest information for your favorite application, Final Fantasy Brave Exvius Global, available to you on iOS, Android, as well as Amazon devices. I am your host, Shaly, and for the first time ever, I don't get to say that I have a special guest. There's no special guest today. It's just me. So please be kind in the comments. Don't roast me to death. I'm just here to try to help you guys to learn what new content we can expect for 2020, because it's going to be another exciting year for FFBE. Hopefully we bring you lots of new and fun events that you guys can enjoy, and you can hear about them first here through our show. Hopefully you guys had a lovely, lovely holiday season with your family and loved ones, but it's time to get back into gaming, for FFBE, starting with a Lunar New Year celebration that is coming up really soon. We have a new event as well as new units to share with you guys today, so stick around so you can learn more about them. All right, well, let's get started with all this new and exciting content that is coming for Lunar New Year 2020. I'm so excited today that I keep messing up, but again, please be kind to me, guys. This Chinese New Year event is going to be called I Smell a Rat. I don't know if you guys get it, but this year happens to be the year of the rat in the Chinese zodiac. So this event is going to take place from the 23rd of January to the 5th of February, and it's going to be your regular elemental battle where the boss is going to be weak to fire this time around. So make sure that you are completing those battles so you can get your currency and then go summon for materials and get recipes as you clear content, because with these recipes you can then use those materials to craft event limited equipment, which is really cool. This time around we're going to have all those set equipments as well. There's going to be another item from the event that is called the Imperial Headdress and Headband. Now this one has a little bit higher stats. It's a hat. Defense plus 10, Spirit plus 40, Spirit plus 15. And while you're logging in during the event, you're actually going to get a lower, kind of weaker version of this item. And as you play the Chinese New Year event content, you're going to get a recipe. And then with the currency from the event, you are going to summon for the materials to use for that recipe to upgrade that base equipment to the Imperial Headdress and Headband. So make sure that you're logging in every day during the Chinese New Year event. That way you don't miss out on the base item, and then you can upgrade it to this more powerful, more useful one. All right, and yeah, that's all we can expect for the Chinese New Year event in general. Stick around to see what the units look this year. All right, now it's time to introduce the new units for the Chinese New Year or Lunar New Year 2020, and we're going to start with Emperor Fu, a 5-star to 7-star unit, of course. Emperor Fu is a very interesting unit in that he is mainly a support unit, but he's also a debuffer, and he can deal summon gauge damage, like evoke gauge damage. So that's a pretty interesting combination that we don't see very often in the game, which is exciting. He can also double cast abilities by the time that he is 6-star. So even if you don't have another copy of him to evolve him to 7-star, his 6-star is strong enough to already double cast abilities, which proves very, very helpful. When he gets to 7-star, if you equip his Trustmaster or Super Trustmaster, he'll be able to triple cast his abilities while he's 7-star. So it comes very, very handy. He can help your party out a lot with that. He has access to attack, magic, defense, and spirit buffs, as well as magical and physical and just general damage mitigation. So he's going to help, keep your party alive by reducing a lot of damage. He also has the rare ability of granting the whole party a killer ability, specifically talking about Beast Killer and Human Killer. This is not something that we see very often, so make sure that you are taking him to those boss battles where the boss is a beast or is a human. That way the whole party can benefit from that extra killer damage that he can grant to everyone in there. And you can get some bonuses for him when either Bai Hu and Zhu Che or Zhuan Wu and Qing Long are in the same party with him and not KO'd. So if you bring them kind of all as in a set, like your Chinese New Year unit party, then they can benefit from each other and they can get some extra bonuses during battle, which is really nice. Okay, now onto his abilities, which I'm sure you guys are dying to know. The Magnus abilities, which were recently introduced in the game and are just sweeping the nation. His is going to be called Celestial Destiny. You can use it only one time per battle, and it is going to consume your evocation gauge to fill the LB gauge for all allies except for himself by 100. So this is pretty good. I personally love the fact that he doesn't have to KO himself in order to boost the LB gauge, because usually that is the case, but it's really nice that, you just get to use it like the one time when you really, really need to get that LB filled up for, King Rain or somebody who's just really LB damage heavy. This could prove really useful. Now, his other featured abilities are Final Imperial Edict. You can use this one every 6 turns. And it will fill your evocation gauge, reduce damage taken by 40%, which is good. Boost LB gauge fill rate by 200% for all allies. These are both for 4 turns. And it's going to enable 3 different abilities. Now let me spell them out for you here so that you know what exactly these do. The first one he enables is Summons Call for Wind, which is going to fill your evocation gauge. The second one is Chillin' Protection, which is going to consume your evocation gauge to enable all allies to evade physical attacks 3 times, which is, I think, pretty rare. It's not often the case that we see units that grant evasion to an entire party, especially, 3 times they can evade physical attacks, so this is pretty good. It's going to help the survivability of your team. And then the third one that it enables is Summons Chillin' Execution, which consumes evocation gauge to deal fire damage. It's a multiplier of 20.5 for all enemies there. So very interesting array of abilities that can be enabled through Final Imperial Edict. Obviously, all of them are kind of evocation gauge centered, so make sure that you keep that in mind. But I always love that, because sometimes I forget that the evocation gauge is there, and then this time you can just use that extra bit of resource to deal more damage or provide your party with more safety. The TMR here, Enchiridion of, I don't know if I even said that right. Enchiridion, give me a second, I'm gonna get this. Enchiridion of Warfare, there we go. Need to just kind of slow it down a bit. This is an accessory, and it is going to give attack plus 15, defense plus 15, magic plus 30, and spirit plus 30. And I know that the stats for an accessory are not necessarily anything to rave about. These are fairly low stats for a Trustmaster, but the beauty of this Trustmaster comes from the passive ability attached to the Trustmaster itself. It is called Ancient Warfare, and it is a lot to go through, so I'm gonna try to go through it slowly. It will boost MP by 20% when you are equipped with a robe. It will boost attack by 20% when equipped with a sword. Magic and spirit by 20% when equipped with a staff. Defense by 20% when equipped with a helm. And HP by 20% when equipped with light armor. So this accessory is extremely flexible. You can equip this accessory to almost any unit and have it actually be of some use. And I am very excited to see what kind of combinations you guys are going to come up with regarding this accessory, because there are so many things that you can do with it. And finding one unit that can maximize the use of all of those passive parameter boosts is going to be very fun to see. Like, I want to see people double wielding a rod and a sword to get both, staff and sword to get both of those parameter boosts, but also wearing a robe. I don't know if somebody who wears a robe can ever wear a helm, but it's going to be fun trying to see who can check as many boxes as possible to get as many of those passive buffs as possible. Really interesting TMR there. Now, his Super Trustmaster is going to be the 3rd Nirvana, and this is going to be a staff. This staff is very interesting in the fact that its magic is plus 120, and then its spirit is plus 140. So it is equally useful for mages as well as healers or those who deal damage with spirit parameters. This is a light elemental staff, and it has 2 passives attached to it. The first one is Imperial Air, which will fill evocation gauge at the beginning of battle or after being revived, which would be very handy for, obviously, Emperor Fu himself, who will use evocation damage, not evocation damage, but evocation gauge for a lot of things, such as dealing damage or helping your party with buffs. Imperial Legacy is the other one, which will boost magic, spirit, and parameters of Esper's evoked by 30% and boost evocation damage as well. So the staff is a very strange combination of a lot of magic, a lot of spirit. It is also light elemental, and it also helps any summoner who equips it. Very, very interesting super trust master. I think it's very unique, so make sure that you guys are on the lookout for Emperor Fu. All right, as if that was not enough of a mouthful, now we're going to our second unit, which is Zhuanwu and Qinlong. And I tried my best to say it the Chinese way, but I'm sorry if I totally messed that up. My apologies. They are going to be a pair unit. It is a lady and a boy. They are 5-star to 7-star, and they're going to be a monk unit who utilizes their spirit parameters to attack their enemies. And they also have some tanking abilities as well, so they're kind of double as an attacker and as a tank whenever you need them to, which is very nice because their spirit stat should already be high enough that they can take a lot of magic damage and survive it, right? So they're intended to be a dual wield setup, so you do want to have them equipped with 2 weapons at all times. They have the ability to increase the chain modifier cap by a 6-time multiplier when dual wielding, and they're also meant to true dual wield spirit equipment because, again, their damage is mostly based on spirit parameters. So make sure that you are keeping that in mind. Like, don't go crazy trying to put as much attack on the monk as possible. You want to be equipping them with the spirit equipment. Their main chain family is going to be the bolting strike frame. All hail Esther. We love her to death. But they're also going to have a new chain family as kind of like their sub chaining family. But the main one is going to be bolting strike. They are going to be able to imbue fire and wind elements to themselves, but they can also deal ice and water damage. So elemental damage-wise, they're going to be pretty versatile there. They also have innate beast and human killer passives, which is always very, very welcome to have that extra damage already on you. But they can also raise their own stat for that. So, you know, maybe they start... These are not the actual numbers, but I'm just giving an example. So if their innate beast and human killer is 30%, then maybe they can increase it almost, to 50% or beyond. Something like that. But don't take those numbers to heart. Those are not probably the numbers. Okay? They have quite high magical and physical evasion, which paired with the fact that they can double as a tank is absolutely great because we all love evasion tanks, don't we? Like the fact that you can, hail all of that aggro towards you, but then have it not touch you is always amazing. And then you can get bonuses when Emperor Fu is in the party and alive, so that way, your Chinese New Year units are all in the party together and they can benefit from having each other there. So that is the general rundown on Zhuanwu and Qinlong. To their Magnus ability, now it's going to be called Special Arts Palm Strike. You can use this one 3 times per battle, so that's pretty nice because you're not restricted to only the 1 time per battle. And this is going to damage all enemies 2 times with the spirit stat, physical spirit, at a 10-time multiplier. And the spirit scaling is going to be a 50 times multiplier for, I believe, the second blow, the backload damage. And this is all going to be in bolting strike frames. So again, bolting strike chain family, keep that in mind when you are trying to chain mid-battle. Featured ability, Special Arts, Azure Dragon Style. Now this one you can use every 5 turns, and it's going to reduce the enemy's spirit by 70%, which is a very nice number, and then it's going to boost spirit for the unit by 250%, so that you can get that extra damage going on with the spirit debuff already combined, which is super, super nice. And this one is going to also enable 4 different abilities, so let me go through all of those as well so you guys are aware of what we can expect from using Special Arts Azure Dragon Style. So the first one is Tactical Fusion. This is going to enable your triple cast. So, whenever you need to deal 3 blows in a row, this is the one that you want to go for. You want to activate that and then just go ham on whoever it is that you're attacking. Number 2 is going to be Azure Dragon Enhanced Chi, which is going to damage 1 enemy with physical spirit scaling of 12 times multiplier in bolted strength frames, and boost damage of certain abilities, mostly Azure Dragon labeled abilities, by 8 times, by an 8 multiplier for 3 turns. Okay? The third one is going to be Azure Dragon Winged Blessing. This is going to remove and boost resistance to attack and magic reductions, and the resistance is going to be at 100%, so it basically just makes it impossible to get that those reductions, which is very nice. And then it's going to fill the ALB gauge for all allies by 2 or 4. So it's not a lot, but it is definitely helpful when you need just that little bit of LB to just get your whole gauge going. And then the last one is Azure Dragon Debilitating Acupoint, which is going to reduce fire and wind resistance for all and damage all enemies. Now the reduction is 100%, which is super, super nice. And the damage to all enemies, again, is going to be physical and spirit scaling at a 2 times multiplier first, and then, excuse me, and then 14 times multiplier in bolting strike frames. I'm speaking too fast, I'm getting too excited. So let me calm down. So that is all that can be enabled for Azure Dragon style. Their Trust Master is the Jade Bracers. This is going to be a fist weapon. The attack is plus 30, which is obviously not a lot, but the spirit is plus 125 because, again, this monk unit is based on spirit damage. It's going to enable Spiritual Affinity, which is going to boost your MP and spirit by an extra 20%, so that's very nice. Now, the Super Trust Master is going to be an equipable ability called Heavenly Presence, and it's going to increase your spirit by 80% when equipped with a fist weapon, and also increase your limit burst damage by 30%. So this is really, really good for Zhuanwu and Qinglong, so make sure that you are getting that. Make sure you equip them with that in order to maximize their damage output. I think that would be super, super great. Oh, and hint, this materia, of course, not materia, equipable ability is unstackable. So you can't just, stack 50 of them. Well, not that you could anyway, but you know what I mean. So these are the units that we can expect for the Chinese New Year event. I hope that I explained them well enough to make sure that you guys are interested to see if you can maybe find a space or a little bit of use for these units during the Chinese New Year event, as well as other content that we have in the game. And they are going to be available in Step Up Summon, so make sure that you stick around to hear how that's going to go down next. All right, now on to the Step Up Summon for the Lunar New Year event. We're going to have 2 types of Step Up Summons. One is for the new units that are coming out, and then the other one is for old units that we have already released for Lunar New Year in the past. So let's cover the one for new units. First, this was going to be a 5-step step up. You can do the whole 5 steps 4 times, so it has 4 loops. And the units that are going to be featured in this Step Up Summon are Zhuanwu and Qinlong, which is one of the units, and then Emperor Fu as well. Now, when you go through all the steps up to step 5, once you hit step 5, you are guaranteed either Zhuanwu and Qinlong or Emperor Fu, and we all loved a guaranteed unit on step 5. I am here for it. I absolutely support this method, but steps 1, 2, and 4 are going to give you guys a 5-star guaranteed 20% featured ticket for Zhuanwu and Qinglong, which if you collect 4 of, you have the chance of summoning a guaranteed 5-star unit with a 20% chance of it being either Zhuanwu and Qinglong or Emperor Fu. So be on the lookout for that. Now for the older units, the step up is going to be only 2 steps, and you can do it up to 5 times, 5 loops. Now step 2 is going to be a 9 + 1 + 1. That first +1 is a 4-star guaranteed unit or above guaranteed. And then the last one is a random 5-star guaranteed for you guys there. So if you missed out on older Lunar New Year units in the past, this is the perfect chance to get them for you, as if you do it up to step 2, you can get a 5-star guaranteed unit there. Even though it's random, I think it's still pretty good. So make sure that you guys keep an eye out for these step-ups. Hopefully you have been saving up your lapis for just such an occasion, and good luck on your pools. And of course, to complement the celebration of Lunar New Year event, we're going to have latent abilities and ability awakenings for the older Lunar New Year units in FFBE. You can see ability awakenings for Qin and Baihu and Zhuchue, as well as latent abilities for Yun, Ang, Chao, Qin, and also Baihu and Zhuchue. So make sure that you guys are looking into what you can do to make your older units even more powerful, more relevant to the meta, as I have to emphasize this every single time. Your units are still usable, your units are still important, and we are making sure that we are giving them a little bit more power so that you can still find a space for them in your current party. Hopefully, what we can expect this year or this time around is really, really, really good. I've seen some of it. I think it's pretty nice, so look forward to it, guys. And for all of those of you who were waiting for a new trial to come, it is the season. It is 2020. A new boss has reared its ugly head in the chamber of the indignant, and now we can expect the scorn of the Great Explosion Festival, which is so apt and adequate because we are celebrating Lunar New Year, and then we have a Great Explosion Festival. I think that matches pretty well, right? So this is going to be, again, the mom bomb, the dad bomb, and the bomb juniors who are going to try to get their revenge on you for the last time that you beat them way, 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 way back in the day. And if you do manage to beat them, the reward is going to be the Demon Axe, FFBE. It's, of course, an axe. It has an attack of 165. It is a two-handed weapon, and it has a passive called Earth-Shattering Battle Axe, which is going to boost physical damage against stone monsters by 75%. Now, a tip for this battle, I mean, I think it works a lot like the first time around, but Mom Bomb is weak against ice and absorbs fire damage, while Dad Bomb is the exact opposite. He is weak against fire, but he absorbs ice. So you have to be keeping this in mind every time that you want to deal damage to each and the other, as they both absorb the damage that would pair up with each other's weaknesses. It's kind of a tricky battle. Now the Bomb Juniors, those are also tricky because they have very high elemental affinities and very high physical damage resistance. So if you're not hitting them with the element that they are weak to, it's going to be very hard to take those down. So make sure that the party that you're bringing is very high in fire resistance, it's very high in ice resistance, as well as basically having every possible elemental damage available to them in order to get rid of the Bomb Juniors as fast as you possibly can. Now, of course, make sure that your tank can cover physically the whole entire party, because a lot of physical damage is going to be coming your way. And you cannot break enemies' attack or magic, but you can break their defense and spirit. So make sure that you are debuffing that as much as possible to maximize your damage output. And they can also imbue your party with fire and ice elements, which means that if, Dad Bomb is weak against fire, he imbues your party with fire, you hit them with fire physically, then he's going to just absorb that and make it into his recovery. We don't want that. So you need to prepare a way, if you're going to use physical damage dealers, you need to prepare a way to dispel that elemental imbue so that you're not hitting them with the element that they can absorb. If you bring magic dealers, well, you don't really have to worry about that because you're just hitting them with magic damage, and that fire imbue really doesn't translate over. So make sure that you are strategizing that, and then you bring an ability to dispel if necessary. Also, a little hint, some of the damage that the boss deals cannot be covered or provoked. So also make sure that you have a way around that as well. But good luck to you all. Hopefully you beat it, in just one try, like many of you do since you're excellent FFBE players, and reap those rewards. All right, it is that time when we have to end the show. Usually I ask everyone what they thought of today's show, but it's just me, so I'm just going to share with you guys a little bit more information about what you can expect for the Chinese New Year event, as we have a Lunar New Year login bonus. Always welcome. I love login bonuses, but of course you have to be logging in every single day to get all of the rewards, so make sure that you are doing that. This login bonus is going to be from the 23rd of January to the 12th of February. You're going to be able to get Lunar New Year event equipment. Like I mentioned before, there is a base equipment that you can then upgrade to a much stronger piece of equipment by acquiring the recipe and then the crafting materials. So make sure that you don't miss a login bonus so you can get that. And then You can get Lapis from it, you can get Trust Moogles, summon tickets. There is a 5-star guaranteed EX ticket in there. I'm sure that everybody wants that, so make sure that you log in to get that. And you can also get medals for the Lunar New Year minigame, which I'm thinking is probably going to be the slots, the Chocobo, right? And so for that, you can get medal from the login bonuses, and on top of getting the rewards that you get every time that you spin the slots, the Chocobo, you are going to be getting rewards based on how many times you have actually played the minigame. So maybe you played it 5 times, so you get this reward, or you played it 10 times, so you get this reward. And rewards include 5+1 summon tickets, as well as Super Trust Moogle, Moogle exchange tickets, Trust Moogles, and summon tickets as well. So, you know, it is a mini game. There's not much to it. All you have to do is press buttons until the reward comes out. It's not too hard, but the rewards can be pretty good. Everybody can benefit from a Super Trust Master Moogle exchange ticket. We need those. We need as many of those as possible. Cannot wait to have a whole 100 so I can exchange mine for a Super Trust Moogle. Now, I think that's all that we have for today. I hope I didn't do too terrible. I know that I tripped over like 100 of the words that I said because I'm really nervous, and when I'm nervous, I speak really fast. But hopefully you guys understood what I was trying to say, and I was still able to share with you guys what you need to know, what you can expect, what is coming for FFBE, because it's always exciting. It's a new year. We're looking towards the future, a very bright future, and I'm very excited to be spending it with all of you wonderful people. So again, Happy New Year to you all. Happy Lunar New Year if you celebrate as well. And we will be seeing you on the next episode. Bye, guys.